much the same as a back handspring up once you get into the prone position here. Same technique. This just requires a little bit more body control, I feel like, as far as top girls, like really squeezing because it's not as fast as a back handspring. And if you don't always have a back handspring, easy way to get inverted up in the air. So we'll go through a round off that, and then we'll break it down. And the way we do it might be different than other people, but we can show you our technique.
So just tell them that keep your arms into their body, because if your arms are there, they're not going to hit you. So keep your arms here, use your body to meet those hands at the top. But if you want to come up over here to the side, maybe
This is also going to be really important, them keeping their arms in when we get to what Emma does, because she's actually pushing off of their arms, and if their arms aren't stable, she's not going to go anywhere. So just keep that in mind.
into the side. Yeah. So for bases, I go underneath armpit, kind of the shoulder, and then I go like hip bone. And if you can see here, like my body is like under her, that way I can use my strength there to get her to the top instead of like deadlifting her.
Sorry, just to add to that too, like helping bases realize that it's more of a rock, like rocking her onto you rather than thinking that you have to pick her up from the ground.
Yep.
It's a rock and then a
Yep, use the momentum of the skill coming over you, and like you notice it doesn't stop, right? That it continues to like progress through that ground off and getting to that nice hollow body position or flat position here on the back squat too, and nurse will go over that. But yes, they should be able to use that rock, because come time for a back handspring up, you absolutely have to, because there's no way you can deadlift them from the ground. So you have to be able to get that over you. A bajillion times more important when it comes to co-ed, because you have to, as a top girl, you are rocking completely over the top of your base in order to get that step to hit. So the rock, yeah, like so important.
So for back squats, you have to attack your flyer's legs. You have to go after it. Same thing, the timidness of back squats can really hurt the stunt. So make sure that you're part of your back squat that they have to go after the legs, okay? If you're out anywhere outside of that stunt, you're not gonna be able to get the grip that you need and the momentum you need to be able to rock her into the right position. So I'm ready. I have basically one leg already in the stunt. Emma's shorter, so she has shorter legs, so I have to really go for it to get to this position on her legs. Kind of mid-thigh, that's where you want to get, because that's where most of her weight will rock. So once I'm reaching for it, I'm letting it settle back, and I have to get a really good bend in my knees, especially for me because I'm super tall, because I have to be able to rock her right onto me, and you have to wait for your bases to throw her chest up before the back squat can throw it, because if the back squat throws the legs first, then it's going to be her legs first and her chest last, and that's not how this works. So make sure that it's chest first, you rock it onto yourself, and then you kind of get it like a scoop straight up, and then attack the ankles. So chest, literally a split second right after you throw that chest, you'll get that rocking feeling, and then that's when you flick it through.
And if the flyer is going like this, that's exactly what is happening. The timing on these, like, is very frustrating in my opinion, because if there's even just one person in the group that doesn't know the timing, it can throw the whole thing off. So just keep in mind that like it may take a little bit for them to get that timing. It's not because they don't know how to do it, it's just like getting everyone in on the same page. So letting it rock back onto that back spot, and you have to be super quick so that she's not just holding their legs like this.
Another thing is for back squats is it's really easy to like pull her legs out this way or pull her legs out this way as you have them in your hands. And that's really bad because if they're all the way this, then she's not gonna be able to snap right in place in the center. You have to make sure you're really keeping her body in center, in line, and that you're just rocking it straight through.
Alright, for flyers, obviously left, right, front, left, doesn't really matter which leg. I, at the beginning, give my bases a little shrug, telling them, okay, I'm coming, just so I'm not like surprising them by like diving straight into it. Flyers wanna think, as soon as my hands make contact with the ground, they're off the ground. So I put my hands down, and I pick them up, and I grab, like, some flyers say they grab, like, forearms. I tend to go more for, like, wrists. So I pick my hands off the ground, I grab them, and I push. Like, because as strong as they are, like, they still need some help. And you're gonna think, push off of your bases, stand up, keeping that body line, and rolling your chest up.
A couple things, and we can show just like a drill being in here, just concentrate on every catch. That's one thing, and then I always like to tell all my top girls that they want to find like where like the ceiling and the wall meet to point their toes to try to get that good body position, because as soon as they start dipping their toes too far over, it's really hard for that back spot, or if they're stopping too much in a handstand, they need to get that nice like toes up to the corner feeling in order to really get to rock over the back spot. But a good drill to begin with, just go in and toss straight up and catch, yeah. And come back down. Yeah, just touch the ground. There, come back up, nice and tight, yep. Really important on those, if you're gonna do the drills, that the top girl keeps their tummy tight. The last thing you want is them to come down into a prone with a loose tummy. But that's a nice drill for them to get the feeling for everybody before you start just throwing it. And you can do the exact same thing on a back handspring up, in order to get that feeling.
Side note, back squats need to feel weight in the legs. Earlier in the week we were practicing, I was with a different strength group, but we were really hitting like the clean hit that we were looking for, and I just like, I don't feel any weight. I feel like I'm just kind of there, I'm not helping in any way. So you make sure that your back squat feels weight in those legs, because if there's no weight, that either means there's no rock, or your back squat's not low enough in that squat to be able to push and rock her.
You also, if you didn't ever mention this, but watch her thumbs. So from here, when she goes to drive, she's driving up through her thumbs, and that's how she's throwing from the ground. That allows her to keep everything up through her center, and like the last thing that should be going towards the ceiling is like the edges of her thumbs and right there of her hand. So she's rolling all the way through. That is like so important when it comes to co-ed step T, is that you let it rock over you, and the last thing as you're driving through is you're driving up through your thumbs. Everything should go through your thumbs. That keeps it going through your center and stops you from pushing it forward and allows you to go right back to the top. Thumbs are so important. Yeah. Questions on the round off?
Can we see from the side?
Yeah. Good. And I know Emma said she just like shrugs so they know. I would put it to counts. 5, 6, 7, 8, shrug 1, 2, go 3. Especially as you're learning it. Everything, especially if you're doing it, learning it or you're doing it as a team, we put everything to counts. So I guess we can kind of touch on that too. Another thing, we teach that you should keep more of a flat body coming down, like Emma said, keeping her line and not breaking as much in her hips. Some people teach it differently. We like to teach that you keep your body line, because if you move on, when you move on to back handspring up and you move on to back handspring pull ups, you have to keep your body line. You can't drop your heels down. So when Emma's coming down, she's trying to keep this body line as much as she can until she needs to drop those toes just a little bit to roll up. And that's really important, is to roll up through those shoulders and not just like slide up like too fast, because that'll get your step going backwards. Some people teach technique from here to really drop your heels and then roll up. It's not wrong, but it depends on what your goal is. If you want want to move on to higher progressions, I would teach from here, get chest up as much as you can, you drop your heels a tiny bit and roll up.
And for lip purposes.
Yeah, and like going to a lid, any progressions from there, that was a big thing we learned last year, was keeping that body line, because I was always under the impression like really drop your heels, but then as soon as we started working back handspring pulls, like you absolutely cannot do that, you have to keep your body line.
A couple years ago, I had a flyer who was my 4th year member explain it's kind of like for the flyer position, and Emma, you can correct me if I'm way off base here. I've also never done this. So these were just coming to fruitfulness back in the day. It's kind of riding like a basket, because you really want to push and keep that straight body line and keep that floating feeling before you even think about any sort of change in your body line.
Yeah, truly, like the longer you can keep your nice like angle that you hit here, the better. If they don't, like best case scenario, they don't even have to break their body line at all. We have one girl on co-ed, Crumb, she like doesn't, I would be so pissed if she wouldn't drop her toes at all, so then she wasn't getting the stunt, but she like had this beautiful like straight body, and co-ed is a little bit different, so like all girl, you can keep that body line a little bit easier than you can on co-ed. Co-ed, they're probably gonna drop their heels and drop their toes down a little bit sooner so that Doom can find the feet a little bit faster. And then the other difference for co-ed, there's nowhere to grab, so it's just straight from the ground and they're pushing straight up, and that is like explosive. Like Emma said, as soon as your hands hit the ground, your hands should be coming off the ground. That should be really, really fast. And it doesn't come in an elbow bend, it comes in a push through your shoulders. So I struggle with that a lot with top girls are really wanting to bend through their elbows, but blocking their shoulders. Did you ask me?
Yeah, just like the reason they have to drop their heels so much, or like a little earlier, is because they don't have that like front hand that they
There's
do.
nothing throwing their chest.
Yeah, so they have to bend a little earlier to
Drive.
roll up.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like as you're learning it, but once you get technique and you get good technique of rocking over from here, it should just be chest and then dropping their toes. Any other questions on the round off up? We can go to back handspring now.